Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome into episode 6, right? Episode 6.
Boy, time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it?
I know, right? It's nothing better than spending time with my buddy Rick and Joy. We are joined today in beautiful Portland, Oregon here by one of the Pacific Northwest's greatest players of all time here. Hall of Famer, 9-time All-Star, 9-time All-NBA, 9-time All-Defense, Defensive Player of the Year, NBA champ, Mr. Gary Payton. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, well, he just rattled off something, folks, that's pretty impressive. I mean, nine times all first team, all defense, a 4-point guard. That's pretty unheard
Greatest defensive point guard of all time.
Well, I think that my good friend, my old tennis buddy, I used to play a lot of tennis with Gail Goodrich, came out and said that maybe the best, called him the best all-around complete point guard that the NBA's had. Now, we've had a lot of great ones. You know, obviously you can throw out Magic Johnson, Stockton, and all the other guys, and
I thought
Steve
we said
Nash.
Defense, right?
No, that's what I'm saying. This is what I'm talking about. You throw all those guys in there, but none of those guys, you know, was the quality of defensive player that Gary was, and so that kind of separates them. And that's what you love to have as a coach, is to have a player who's all around and plays both ends of the floor. And he's a bonus because to me, and I'm going to get your opinion on this, to me, I want 5 guys who understand team defense. And if I can get a guy who's good individually defensively, to me, that's a bonus. You don't win with all great individual defenders, because as good as you were, okay, and I played against a lot of good defensive guys, nobody shut me down, okay?
Right.
So if you're not playing team defense and getting some help, when I do beat you, your teammates got to be there. And if they're not, everybody's getting all kinds of layups, right?
Yes.
Do you agree with that?
And Rick, you know, that's a key of what Rick is saying. If I'm up top and I'm defending, and then all of a sudden I get a couple of steals, and I can turn a player a lot of times, that makes the people in the back want to play defense. They're saying Gary's up there doing it, and then if Rick goes by me, I got another guy who's stunning to come up, and then I can go and help. And good team defense is better. But if a guy sees that I'm doing work, he's gonna want to do work too.
Contagious.
And it's contagious, and then everybody's gonna be like, "This is the way we win."
Right.
And that's what I did when I played, and I played with Seattle, and that's how we played. Everybody was like, "Gary's gonna cause havoc." And then if we get somebody else that can handle the ball, like not the best ball handler, and get a 2 of the guard to handle it, we got a great chance of disrupting their offense and doing a lot of good things.
Yeah, well, I'd like to get back and start early with you from your background, because I know you come from the Bay Area.
Before we get started here real quick, do you mind if I interrupt just 1 second? I think we're missing something.
Oh, okay. Watch this. No.
We're missing something.
Oh, you put the jersey on.
Much more light.
Okay.
This is kind of Christian's thing.
It's his thing.
Yeah, and obviously you're going to be asked to sign it before you leave.
It's all good with me.
Much better.
Oh, there we go.
I like that. I like it too. Yeah.
Well, we have a connection, do you know, actually, because my son Brent went to the same school he went to in college,
Absolutely.
right?
Oregon State.
And then they also play for the Sonics.
There you go.
Well, a couple of Rick's sons play with me.
Really?
Yeah.
John.
But John did, and
Did Drew get a little bit?
Drew was with me. Drew was my guy.
Yeah.
So Drew my guy. So you know what I'm saying? And Drew was with me for a long time, for a couple of years, and then Brent was with me for a couple of years too. So, and then John played with me just briefly. But Drew was my guy, you know what I'm saying? So, but I played with a lot of the berries, and Brent went to Oregon State,
right?
You know what I'm saying? We're alumni, we alums, and so it was good. It was good being around Rick's family.
You know the story about when you left and went to the Lakers, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Whatever I mean, the coach decided that he was going to put Brent at the point guard, which I've always felt Brent should have been a point guard.
Right.
I don't know why they didn't do it. You had a chance to play with him, see. The game, I think, that you left and he played point guard, I think he had 16 assists in the game.
16, yeah. They played against Milwaukee that night. That was the thing. I got traded to Milwaukee that time.
Oh, it was Milwaukee.
It was
I thought
Milwaukee
it was, okay.
I got traded to, and then we played them that night, and they didn't let me play. So then they did put Brent up that day. He had 16 assists. He did. He did. Yeah, but Brent has an IQ that's really up here with him being so athletic, and he can pass the basketball. That's what people don't really understand about Brent. They thought about Brent as a shooter and athletic.
He must not have learned the passing from Rick. He must have
Well, his daddy was a scorer, so you couldn't stop him. You know what I'm saying? You
Hey,
couldn't
wait a
never
second.
stop
I
him.
was a pretty damn good passer for a forward.
Yeah, but you didn't need to pass the basketball because they needed you to score a lot. They needed you to score. So, but when it was time for him to pass the ball, he could pass the basketball. But Brent was that all-around guy.
But the passes that he can make,
Yeah,
with those
he made-
long arms of
Yeah,
his,
he
wrapping
was-
the ball around his body and doing stuff. I mean, anyway, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah,
We're here to talk about you, not my son. So Oakland, that's where you got started out. So how did you get into basketball?
Well, Rick, when I was growing up, I was just wanting to be on the playgrounds playing cops and robbers, cowboys and stuff like that, hide go see. And then all of a sudden, my oldest brother, Greg Payton, he went to De La Salle High School, where Brent went.
Right.
And then I started watching him. And then my father put a basketball hoop in front of our house on a tree. And so when we started doing that, I was out there and they were keeping the ball away from me. And I started crying a lot, running in there, getting my father. And my father got really upset about that. And he was like, look here, I'm not going to go out there. You better learn how to play the game and then beat them. And then I took that to heart. And I started playing the game. And I got really good. And then all of a sudden, I started getting good. And then everybody started noticing me in Oakland. And then it took off from there. And then I started becoming that player that everybody wanted to be, to have on their team as we go to the playgrounds. If you want to be on a 5, you'd be like, who got next and stuff like that. They were picking young Gary, young Payton. And then all of a sudden I became a household name in the Bay Area.
And so how many schools went after you?
In the Bay Area, all the schools went after me. All the Catholic schools were after me. All the Oakland public schools are after me.
What about college?
College, I had about 60 schools after
60.
me, bro. I had about 60 schools.
And why Oregon State?
Well, Brent, I committed to St. John's University. I wanted to play with Chris Mullins, Walter Berry.
That'd have been a hell of a team there.
Yeah, Mark Jackson.
Yeah.
We had a lot of players on our team. Bill Wellington. I committed to them. And the day that we were supposed to sign, me and Greg Foster, he was going to UCLA and I was going to go over to the Big East. Louis Conaseca called and said he couldn't take a chance with his assistants to make this decision of a guy way across the Mississippi. And he wanted to keep his recruiting good in the East Coast, so he went after another player. And it was a great opportunity. I thought I made a mistake of picking the school. So I just did like this. All the schools had thought that I was committed to St. John's. Next thing you know, my mom made a statement that I wasn't there. I was going to decide to go and do it at the end of the year. And then all of a sudden, a lot of schools said, forget it. Let's take some of our scholarships back because we want this kid. And my mom really liked it, Ralph Miller. She loved Ralph Miller. And that was going to be my second choice. Then my Haskins at El Paso, the Bears. So and then my mom picked Oregon State. So when we came to the conference after that, I sat here just like this, and everybody asked me where I was going, and I told them to look at my mom. My mom pulled out a hat, and it was Oregon State. Wow. That's where I went.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's a risk on the part of a parent because I never told my boys where to go because you're risking that because if it doesn't work out, they're going to blame you.
Yeah, but I didn't really think that. I asked her to it. I asked her to make the decision. I just said, if you make the decision, I think it's going to be okay, and I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to make it go. I went and did a visit. I went to visit. I didn't like the school because it was in the country. But Jimmy Anderson, who was recruiting me, he had recruited me since I was in the 10th grade. So the 9th, 10th grade. So I was really comfortable with him. He made me comfortable with it. And as soon as I got there, Rick, it was heaven.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I stayed there for 4 years, and it was just heaven. It was something that I had to grow up. I wanted to get out of the city. I wanted to do different stuff. And that college made me grow up and become a man. And that's why I stayed there for 4 years, because I wanted to understand how to become that guy. And that's what I did. And it worked out.
Well, plus a town like that, because the whole town just revolves around this university. And so that's kind of a cool experience.
It was a great experience. And it was something that we built. And when I got there, we weren't that good. I went to the NIT the first year.
Which was the big tournament.
Was the big tournament. And then we went to the NCAA and all that stuff. And then I was there all there. And then we started being ranked. We were ranked as one time as high as number 9. And it was something like every year we were ranked. My senior year, we ranked like 9th in the country. I was All-American. You know, I was making everything, and then all of a sudden, I became the second pick in the draft. So it was good. I won Player of the Year of a lot of things.
Hey, there we go. Another thing in common. Second player in the draft. Although, you know, I don't know if I was really second, because this is the only year ever in the history of the NBA, the 2 teams, East and West, flipped the coin, the worst teams, and the Knicks won and got first and fourth. The Warriors got second and third. I really, to this day, was never able to verify whether they said my name first or Fred Hetzel's name first. But it was irrelevant, because second and third, you got to pick. But I don't know if they said me first. I don't know.
Well, you should have been.
I know.
You see what happens now.
Actually, I should have been first.
Yeah, you should have been. You should have been.
The Knicks should have taken me. I was right there across the river, and they didn't take me, and I never forgave them. And I had a lot of big game. I'm not a vindictive person, but I don't forget.
I would have did the same thing. But hey, look how that worked out. I should have picked you.
Hey, you missed out, though. Louis Carnesecca is one of the greatest, one of my favorite coaches ever. I still talk to him now. He's in his late 90s. Amazing guy. You would have loved playing with Louis.
And then you know what? He's always said he was sorry all the time, even to this day. And then I had my daughter go there. My daughter graduated from St. John's. Yeah, she went all 4 years and graduated. And then he was so upset with himself and wanted to reward me. He hired her. He hired her to work for him as his assistant for 4 years.
But he wouldn't have done it if she wasn't any good. So.
And she's a great kid. You know what I'm saying? She's a great kid. To graduate in 4 years and then out of high school in 3. So she's pretty smart with a lot of things that she does. Yeah,
good for her. So then, where were you hoping you were going to get to play in the NBA?
Seattle. That's what I wanted. Really? Seattle was on me ever since my sophomore year in college. And Bernie Bickerstaff was running it at the time. And he kept saying that we're going to get you. We're going to get you. Whatever way we're going to get you. And I was hearing that even if they weren't in the lottery, they were going to try to trade up to get me. And so happened they got lucky. The balls came up. They had really tanked the year because they were like 40, 41, and 30 or something. They lost like 11 games in a row and didn't make the playoffs and got in there and then got a ball. And so happened their chances were 12% to get in the top 3, and they got number 2. Wow. So it was just a blessing from God to do it. And then when New Jersey came up, I just told them, don't draft me. I wasn't coming. And it was out of me and Derek Coleman who they were going to draft because they needed a point guard and they needed a big man. And they drafted Kenny Anderson next year for the point guard position. So I was happy for it, and I was telling them I didn't want to go there, and that was that. Yeah.
Well, it worked out well for you. Seattle's great. I loved Mercer Island when I lived there. It was
all
cool.
that, you know, it was good. It was really good with us. It was one of them things where the Northwest was great. I was already at Oregon State. I was here. It was just right down the street. So I was like, it was good for me to go to Seattle.
Staying in your own backyard.
There you go. All my kids were born there except my daughter. Everybody else was born there, so they're happy about that. They have 206 kids, so
there you go.
They're very happy about that. They're happy.
Joy, you have something for Gary?
Oh, yes, for sure. I'm trying to see where to start because I don't want to get too far left. But
Wait a second. Let's not get political.
I just want to know because I like to ask
keep it strictly
Stay in the middle.
Go right ahead, shoot.
What are your thoughts on? Because you're a tough cookie. Mm-hmm. So I have two questions because you're a tough cookie. The first one is, what are your thoughts on today's physicality in the NBA?
Soft.
Or lack thereof.
What physicality?
Very soft. I mean, well, we got to understand, these kids are in a different generation. When we played, it was inside, outside. You know, you give it to the big man, and you get it out there, and then if you had a great player, he could create whatever he wants to. You know, we had that in our era. Nowadays, their weapon is a 3-point. You know what I'm saying? They're running to the basketball. And then this crazy mess where you got to go to a monitor and see if you got hit in the head.
Right.
You know, if Rick understand, when Rick and them played, you hit them, you get up and you fight. You just say a tech and then we come on with the next thing. In our era, if you went to the basket, we wouldn't let nobody dunk on. We're going to put you in the third row.
Right.
And then you just come on back. You know what I'm saying? We get fined. Nowadays, you get hit and you do this. They be like, oh, hold on. Let's check it. Let's see what happens.
What's the flavor?
They bring a wheelchair out for
and
you.
then do everything. And then you put an ice pack on your head and all
Right.
that stuff, and you're looking crazy like you done got shot or something.
And then once they
It's
give
just
you the
crazy.
call, then you're okay. Then you're
You're
back,
okay.
then you're fine.
Then they get the ball and the shot and then the ball back, and then they're laughing at you because
Right.
they fooled you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's crazy.
Who do you think is like to blame as far is it like the referees? Is it like the league as a whole? Is it the players? Like, where do you shift that to? And then my second question is like, how does it? Do you think there's a chance that we would ever see like actual physical basketball ever again?
You won't see physical basketball again. That's over. You know what I'm saying? But I just think it comes from an era in the league changing. The league wants to see more entertainment. That's entertainment. They want to see that. And then you look at these kids. These kids go out here, and I think the NBA is more about, you know, the social thing around. They don't want kids to be thinking that they can go on the basketball court and do the same thing that their hero do in the NBA. So they eliminate that. They eliminated trash talking because they don't want kids to think that that's okay. When our trash talking wasn't really that much, you know, I used to talk to everybody, referees, players, fans. I do everything. That was my motivation. But you know, as you see with Draymond Green, my young guy, I don't see nothing wrong with it. I just see that at times he got to understand and think about his teammates because
Thank
they
you.
need him so much.
Right.
He hurts the team.
He hurts them because because they need him.
Yeah.
They need Draymond Green because he's the facilitator. He's the ball handler. He gets Curry going. He gets a lot of these players going because he gets players like my son easy baskets.
And his
He's
energy.
catching that.
His energy.
And his energy brings it where he's on defense because I love him on defense
Right.
because he gets in people's face and he gets in their shirt.
Yeah.
That's what he's supposed to do. And that's the only thing I say about it is that he hurts his team a little bit when he doesn't be on the floor. And he understands that. We've talked a lot of times about it, and he understands it. And I think he's calmed down in the last year or so. But I'm not going to never take away from his game about how he gets motivated and texts. I did it, and I don't care. You got to understand when to back off.
I agree.
And that's where your teammates come in because
Yeah.
a couple of times I even saw Steph, he was doing something. The first thing you got to do is you got to run and get him the hell away from the officials. Just help him out a little bit, you know?
Yeah. Because he's going to continue to talk, but he's an energy guy.
Right.
And he goes on his energy. That's why he's so good at what he does. But like Rick said, a lot of the players, and like my son and him have great relationships. So when my son goes and grabs him, he listens a little bit and he goes and walk away, but he's still saying stuff. And the referees are starting to give him the benefit of the doubt. They let him go and run instead of being in his face and showing him up. They let him go. And like I said, I would never take it away from him because he always amps it up. And when he does it, I think Golden State really starts to play well. They start doing things different when he starts to get at him a little bit. Sometimes it doesn't work, but most of the time it does. And that's just the way it goes.
Well, you brought up something I have to ask you. I mean, because I know what it's like for me. How cool is it to see your son playing? I mean, come on. Isn't that amazing?
Rick, you had a lot of them in the NBA, and I know it feels good, and it feels good for my son. Because my son is a different basketball player, as in offensive-minded, but he's still an all-around basketball player. His defense is on a caliber of mine because he can play both ends. He got long arms. But the only thing different with him is he's very athletic, and I wasn't like that. I'm just gonna
I
let
know,
it
I'm
out.
saying he does a lot of dunking.
Yeah, he
Yes,
does.
I
He's
didn't
very
see you
athletic.
dunking too often.
No, I didn't dunk it because I got to save my legs. You know what I'm saying? You know, and that was it. But it's a proud moment to see my son play in the NBA, and it's great because I'm at home in the Bay Area, and he plays for the Golden State Warriors, and I can go across the bridge and see him all the time.
But what I try to tell people, don't you sometimes wish my wife and I, when we were watching our son Canyon with my youngest one, I mean, I'm like, wouldn't it be just better if you just say, "Oh, look at our sons playing basketball"? But you know the game so well that you live and die with everything they're doing.
Hey, Rick, it was everybody used to see me, and I sat there and I was mad all the time because I want to just tell him because I played the game, right?
Yeah.
But then I had to think about it, and he got a little tired of it. So now when I sit there, they always talk about me on the TV, how mad my face is, and I don't have no expressions. But now me and him we have got a relationship where I don't have to say too much for him. Because I've said, you've arrived now. You've understand the game now. And that's what I like about him. And he comes now and asks me questions. You know what I'm saying? Even when during the game, he'll be sitting over there and he'll be like, yeah, what you think about that, Pop? And I'm like, yo, man, just do what you do, man, and stay with what you're doing, and he'll be fine. And that's a great thing that we got now.
Yeah, well, the great signal to me always even with players is just go.
Yeah.
Think. Use your head.
And that's what I always tell him. When he get the stupid fouls, I'll be like, yo, come on, man. Be smart. Just be smart about it. You know, they need you on the floor. If you go off the floor, their defense goes down, diminishes. And I said, it's just not smart when you make stupid fouls. So, yeah.
I had a couple follow-ups I want to ask you, particularly about trash talking. Favorite trash talking stories? Was there ever anyone that could go barb for barb with you and keep up with your trash talk? And then also, what is the secret to it? Are there any lines that, when you're on the court that you're not supposed to cross, or just does anything go?
You know what? Larry Bird and Reggie Miller was by far had vocals about all trash talking. Larry Bird would tell you where he's gonna shoot it in your face and then say, hey, I'm gonna give it to you for a Christmas present. And then you open this package up. He would tell you he's gonna dribble 2 times, go in the corner and shoot it. And if it don't be on net, I'm gonna do it again. That's how he did. Reggie was the same way. He used to have a lot of things up his sleeve about how he's gonna do it with the holstering and all that other stuff. But it was fun playing against some guys. Me, it was no bars. I would say anything. You know what I'm saying? But that was in a day that a lot of the guys could take it.
Right.
Nowadays a lot of these kids don't take a lot of that stuff, what you're saying, and they don't take it too well.
They'll take it personal.
They'll take it personal, and I'm like, you say something to me, I don't care. If I say I slept with your wife last night, I would come back and say, well, I was with yours last night while you was with mine. You know what I'm saying? I would say something crazy like that, to make it happen like that. I wouldn't take it personal. I don't care because I know it didn't ever happen. It didn't happen. So, they take it a lot of too much personal right now. And I think what we were saying, we were having fun with it.
Yeah.
We would have fun with it because it would be, who can say the best line back? That's what it was.
It was a game within a game.
It was a game within a game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
like a chess game.
Yeah, that's all it is. And if you get some of them and get them to be personal, I would always think if I get them to be personal with me, I get them out the game. Then it's about
Because
me.
their mind's not on the game.
Right, and they're not about their team. And then next thing you know, I got them in foul trouble. They're sitting down on the bench. And then I'll be like, look, see, I got you. You know what I'm saying? So I would try to get in their mind a lot.
Is there anybody in the league today, when it comes to like trash talk and how you're built mentally, is there anybody that reminds you of you?
Only Draymond.
Okay.
Only Draymond. I think everybody else is not trash talkers.
What about Anthony Edwards?
Anthony Edwards not a trash talker.
Okay.
I just think he has fun.
Oh,
he knows he's very good, and he'll just say some stuff that you can't guard me, do this and stuff. That's not trash talking.
Okay.
Trash talking to me is when you get in somebody's face, you get them upset, you going to all the referees doing things, fans, all kind of stuff. That's trash talking. I think when you're emotional and you know you can play the game, and you telling somebody, I'm gonna kill you every time, I'm gonna do this, and they can't stop it because none of these guys go back at him. You know what I'm saying? So that's not really trash talking to me. That's just being a confident basketball player.
Oh, this was good. Trash talking 101, right?
There's keys to trash talking.
There we go.
So what do you think about how the game is involved to the point of bringing personal attention to yourself? I blame the coaches on this. When, a guy's doing something and they're pulling their jersey and it's all about me. I have a real problem with that because I try to tell my players when I coach in the minor leagues, I said, look, you just did something that everybody saw. There's no need to bring attention to yourself. You already showed them what you're capable of doing.
Right.
So and the thing is make it like no big deal. I can do that anytime. Whereas you're doing something and you're trying to bring attention to yourself. So what do you think about the way that they conduct themselves?
I don't like that, Rick. I don't like a lot of what a lot of these kids do. You know, taking these jerseys off and then you going and you have tantrum down over there, and when the referees have already known what you've done. So why would you put more attention to yourself? If it was me, I would say something to the referees, or I'll say something and I'll walk away, and then I'll get the referee off my attention and I'll get the player back. I would get the player back because I would do something to get them back, but by that time, they're not having attention on me. But they do put a lot of attention on, and they forgot about these TVs. These TVs will replay,
Cameras everywhere.
and over, and then they're gonna show things that they weren't supposed to show. If you leave it alone, they will not replay it over.
Plus,
You know
if you
what I'm
did something great, they're
Yeah.
going to show that over
That
and over again.
and
You don't
over.
have to bring
Right.
attention to yourself.
And then you can be known for that. But you putting attention to yourself, and these TVs are killing you right now. You know, these camera phones, everything. He's got these people on the side. Look what he did doing this. And why bring that attention to you?
Yep.
Why? You know what I'm saying? So because I'd rather have me dunking on somebody or making a great play or a great steal and make attention to that. That's why I like Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday, he puts attention to himself by making great
Puts his hard
plays.
out- puts his hard
Put
hat
his
on.
hard hat on and do it. You see,
A great
like
example.
against Indiana when he stole that basketball.
Yep.
That was a great play at the last minute of the game to save the game for them.
You know
And
why?
that-
No ego.
no ego. He doesn't.
No ego, that's
he
right.
plays his role. That's why he's on the USA team today.
Exactly.
And the day why he's on the USA team, because they know he can play defense. He's going to be work hard. He's not going to come with no kind of backlash with nothing, and he's going to give you his all. And that's why he plays so much right now, and that's why he's a big factor for the USA team, and even White.
Well, Jerry Colangelo changed all that.
Yes,
They realized you can't just take the star players and put them on a team and expect them to be great, because they found that out when they got the bronze medal a number of years ago with some pretty damn good players.
player.
And they said, we need to have role players, guys who are going to play the game, do the little dirty work and stuff.
Right.
And that's why we've been more successful lately.
Yeah, and they got to understand, international basketball is mostly guard-oriented and big man-oriented. You have to have guards who can guard somebody and big men who can guard. And why they put White on and they was making a big fuss about White being on the USA team is because he can play D.
Right.
That's basically why they put him on the team. And he's going to be a player where if he's a 12
Unselfish.
man, he's not going to worry about that. He don't worry about him getting 30 minutes. He worry about he want a gold medal, and when he gets on the floor, he's going to do what he got to do. That's why they put him on the team.
You know what it's interrupted the USA team talking about it. I have really been impressed with Anthony Davis, the way he has taken the defensive position.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
6 blocks in the one.
Have you seen him? And that's what I'm trying to tell you about a basketball player who doesn't care about nothing. He's saying he changed his game. He's not at the Lakers. He's on the USA team. What he has to do is he has to defend big men and do what he has to do, and that's what he's doing. And he doesn't
He took
care
2
about
shots.
it. And he took 2. That's all he did.
And he had a big
That's
factor
it.
in the game.
That's it.
So, what are your thoughts on Bam Adebayo?
Love
Because
him.
Bam, he's not flashy, but if you take him off Miami, they're finished.
They're done.
They're
right.
done.
And I think that's one of them type of players where I love Bam.
You mean
I
the
love
new
him.
Splash Brother, like LeBron said when he was
Yeah.
running off the court?
That's it. He makes a couple of threes. He's not gonna do that all night. He ain't gonna do that every day. But as of a player who is just gonna go out and work, that's him. He's a guy who's going to work. That's why Miami loves him so much. And when Butler's not on the floor, why they go through him so much. Because he can go and give you 20, 15 rebounds, gives you 4 or 5 blocks, and then have 1 or 2 or 3 steals. He can do that and then come with 6 or 7 assists. That's the type of basketball player you want, and that's an all-around basketball player for me. And again, that's why he's on the Olympic team too, because that's what the NBA sees in him, and that's what they get from him. They get an all-around basketball player.
As we're talking about great players and mentioning a lot of great players, you played on a number of teams. You've played with a lot of great players. If you had to pick your 3 favorite guys that you had to play with, who would they be?
You know, that's hard, Rick.
I know it's hard. That's why I asked the
It's
question.
very, very hard.
You have so
because
many.
I got so many, but you know, Sean would be one.
Oh, I love
for
Sean.
sure.
I was broadcasting when he was up there when he was playing. He was crazy.
Great, that's my guy, man, and he's like a brother to me. And then Shaq would be the next one, like a brother to me. Then it goes from there because I had 3 other good ones that I really loved playing with, and then
Who would they be?
That was Deadlift Shrimp.
Oh, Deadlift. Yeah.
Deadlift was one. Kobe was one, and then I had Karl Malone as one. You know what I'm saying? Them guys, them 3 were really, really friends. I got to know Kobe when he was in trouble, when we was up there, and he was going through a lot, and he became a little brother to me. And that was big for me to see him in a different state, see him in a different state.
Well, as a person.
As a person.
Dealing with issues.
There you go. And nobody really wanted to see him like that. They thought, well, what, that basketball court. But I loved him as a basketball because he was a killer. He didn't
With
care
that
about
uniform on, you got everything he had.
Everything you had. You put a uniform, that Laker uniform on him, he's going to give you everything you got. He's going to give it everything it is, and that's what I loved about him. Even if he had a bad game, he'll go afterwards and stay in the gym till 3 o'clock in the morning, shooting the same shot that he missed. Every time. He'll shoot about 2,000-3,000 of them, and that was just him.
Yeah, he was a pretty amazing guy.
Talk about another great player that you played against by the name of Michael Jordan. 96 finals. You spent a lot of time guarding him. What was it like playing against MJ?
You know what? It was fun. You know what I'm saying? It was one of them things where I knew I was going to compete every night. You want a player that you want to compete against every night. And he was that guy that you wanted to compete against. And it was fun for me. It was just fun to see how I can just try to slow him down. You never can stop anyone.
Not a scorer.
Not a scorer. That's insane if you say that.
See,
it's
another
insane.
guy.
It's insane.
Gary, I've been saying, so I asked all the guys, like Dr. J and George, I said, listen, did you ever have anybody shut you down? When I hear these guys on TV saying he's a lockdown defender, I says, well, I never met one that's a lockdown defender.
Nah.
I mean, you can lock down a shooter, but not a scorer, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
here's one of the greatest defensive players telling you, you can't lock somebody down that's a great scorer.
You can't do that. You can never say that you're going to make somebody not score a basket or score 2 or 3, 4 points. They got too many opportunities and too many possessions because they're going to get the ball a lot and they're going to shoot the ball a lot and free throws and stuff like that. If he's scoring 30 and I hold him to 22, I'm happy.
Well, hell,
Right.
even
I'm
if-
happy.
But
Pretty
even,
good.
even if he got 30, his average, and he took 5 more shots to
Not
get him,
good.
that's a great job.
And if he was 5 or 7 for 26, I did a great job.
That's
because
right.
I God made him do things that he didn't do, made him uncomfortable. And with Mike, that's what I wanted to do, make him uncomfortable, make him take shots that he wasn't supposed to take and not in a rhythm. Because if he gets to the rhythm, he's going to be 14 for 20, and then that's 40.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's 40 points, and then free throws. So I just try to contain him. I try to slow him down and then get it to a point where if we get him to get 22 and he averaging 35, it's a good chance for us to win.
You had a few of those games against Mike. I think 2 or 3 of his lowest final scoring games ever were when you guarded him.
Right, yeah. And I wish I could have guarded him earlier, but I was hurt earlier. And then we started guarding him after we got down 3-0, and then we slowed him down. But then they had a great team with Pippen and Kukos. They picked it up. Dennis Rodman picked it up. And then we couldn't slow him down. You know, we couldn't slow him down after that.
Having played it against MJ and with Kobe, is Kobe the closest thing to MJ we've ever seen?
As a killer, yes. As a basketball player like that, I think they're different players, really. Kobe was a quantity guy. I think Kobe was one of them guys. Kobe was a quantity guy. He had to shoot the ball a lot. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't as accurate as Mike was. Mike can get you in a mid-range game and do it. Kobe developed that at the end of his career when he started doing that. But as in mentality, they both were the same. Both were the same. As close as you can get them. And you know that Kobe wanted to be just like Mike.
Yep.
So it was one of them things where he was probably the closest thing ever. You know what I'm saying? And as you see now, as he passed on, he's probably one of the most popular players that ever played a game, which Mike would be the same too. So I think he would be the closest. He would be the closest.
And it really, I mean, just such a good person. It was so tragic what happened to him. I loved him as a person. He was always accommodating, always nice, always cared, and loved the game dearly.
Yes, he did.
Yeah,
Yes, he
it
did.
was really kind of cool.
And he was going to do a good thing with women's basketball.
Yeah,
He was just about
big
to
time.
start that up
Yep.
big time with the women's basketball. You know, that's where he was headed to with his daughter and stuff. So I just hate that it was too early for him to leave. You know what I'm saying? So, but, I think his legacy is going to be lived on a lot.
Well, talking about a legacy, I'd like to bring up a little bit because you're one of the guys I respect a great deal because so many of the guys who are so fortunate today with especially the kind of money they make, and they're making crazy way more than you made, and for me, it's a joke. And is the fact that they are doing wonderful things from the communities and stuff they came from. Tell us a little bit about your foundation and why you decided to do what you're doing. So.
Well, Rick, my foundation is about neighborhoods, about the kids that come out of neighborhoods like Oakland, California, for we take an example of where I'm from. A lot of these kids are very, very smart. I look at it and I see them having 4.6s. I never had know you could have 4.6 or 4.7. I just thought it was 4.0, But I deal with kids like that. And then all of a sudden they get to go to schools and then all of a sudden they can't go because their parents can't send them there because they can't get the books. They can't get the dormitories because the funding that they get and the Pell Grants and stuff they get is not enough for them to go. So I supply them with that. I give them bonuses with $20,000 to go start it off. Go get all your books, get all your clothes and stuff that you do so you can have that pot so you don't have to worry about not eating or not getting fed because you don't have all of that. By that time, when a year comes, they can get more funding and different things when they get there, and the school can see how much grades they can get and give them scholarships and give them more funding. And I give them a boost to do that. I just want to see kids that have a chance to make it, don't have a chance because they don't have the money, they don't have the funding, they don't have that, and these universities and stuff don't see what these kids are about. And that's a lot of kids that you see. And then they go to these junior colleges where they shouldn't be at junior colleges. They shouldn't be at that. There's nothing wrong with it. But I'd rather see them go to a Yale, a Harvard, or something like that, or Penn State, or Stanford, that can go in there and get that and show what they have. And I've been helping that for the last 15 to 20 years, and it's been a very, very success for me to have these kids call and then come back and talk at my camps. And show them kids and give these kids an outlook and say, man, they did it. And now why Mr. Payton got them up here talking? Because it's a great, great story about these people who are doing it.
Awesome. God bless you for what you're doing there. That's absolutely fabulous. So, well, your career comes to an end, basketball-wise. Mm-hmm. What did you do to prepare yourself for the afterlife? What was your goal to do what when you were done playing basketball? Because you've done a lot of things. You've done broadcasting. You got involved with coaching stuff. Tell us a little bit about what the Gary Payton plan was for the future after basketball.
You know what, Rick? That's a great question. A lot of kids ask me that when I do a lot of speakings. My first contract, I messed up. I jacked it off, $30-something million. And then my next contract was for over $90 million, okay? So at that point of time, I said, I have to plan for my future. What am I gonna do after basketball? Because I'm gonna be so young when I retire at 37 years old. And my life is all in front of me. And my goal was to become a businessman and to don't be broke and show other people what it is, how to do it when we get this amount of money, what we should do. Right now, I own a tech company. I own 5 restaurants. I got a marijuana business, and I'm doing a lot of things that's going around. I bought a big farm where I do a lot of things. I was so fortunate that one of the guys wanted to name a marijuana after me, and it became one of the biggest marijuanas in the country, and it's been that way for a long period of time. I got a lot of things going that I can keep going, and I get in adventures with it. You know what I'm saying? So it's something that I feel comfortable with myself. But people don't understand. You make $15 million a year and then you retire. You can't live at $15 million all the time. You have to adjust your life to that. If you only start making $500,000 or $600,000, that's your way your life is gonna have to work. You can't keep doing $15 million. You can't have 20 cars and think that you can contain that. You can't have 5 houses and think you can contain that. You gotta downsize and become who you are and live within your means. Some people can't do that. They can't do that and understand that. And that's where I understood that and live within my means. I don't have to have 80 chains on my neck. Don't have to have all the diamond Rolexes. I don't have to have all the earrings and stuff. I don't need all of that. I don't really need that.
Superficial.
I'm just basic now. I don't need all of that stuff. I'm good. I used to have a lot of cars. Now I got 2 cars. That's all I need. Only got one behind. And I only can drive on one.
Only drive one at a time.
Only can drive one at a time. So I understood that, and I understand that now. You know, I still want to go out and eat and do stuff like that. I might want to buy me some clothes or something every now and then, but I know my means. I don't know. I can't go out and buy $100,000 this and that and that. I can't do that.
Don't have to be flying in a private jet.
I don't have to. I can get on Southwest and Delta.
That was you earlier.
Absolutely. I got a lot of points on Southwest. I'm good with it. I don't care about that. I can give me some peanuts and some soda, man. You know, and sit there and have a good time. Yeah.
So, speaking of ventures and things, let's talk about bringing basketball back to Seattle and the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
Is it just a matter of time? I know you've been a little bit involved with that.
Yeah.
What is that process like, and when do you think it's going to happen?
See, I didn't mention that. And, you know, I'm with the Krakens up there with the hockey team. That organization is going to be really probably going to take over for the Sonics. 2026, 27 would be something where we're focused at. I think Adam Silver is doing a great job. You see that a couple of months ago, he announced that they're going to put a governor's board together to see who's going to come in. It's 4 cities. I think it's Vancouver, Mexico City, Seattle, and Vegas. And I think Vegas and Seattle is going to get it. You know, and that'll be great. I've already built the hockey arena where they can go and we can play there. And you know, we just need our basketball back. That's our men's basketball back. As you know, the Stormers doing good. The Krakens are there. The Sounders are there. The Seahawks are there. The Mariners are there. We still got it. We just need our basketball. And Seattle is that city for that. We should have never lost it in the first place. But I think it should be there in about the next 2 years. Yeah.
So I know you mentioned women's basketball earlier, and I have a question. I think you're the perfect person to ask because you're, you know, defensively, you're just out. Yeah. So my question is, Caitlin Clark, he's in the league now, and a lot of fans have been complaining, and, you know, a lot of fans have been complaining that the physicality against her is too much. What are your thoughts on that, considering the WNBA is a very, very physical league more so compared to the NBA?
Well, this is what I'm going to tell you. Caitlin knows that in college she doesn't play the type of basketball player she's played in the WNBA. She knew that she was going to have a target on her back when they gave her all this fame. It is what it is. She's the chosen one. Whatever. I think she's doing the right thing is keep getting back up and up and up and keep playing basketball. That's all she's doing. She tells them now, I don't care. It's a foul. It is what it is. I'm not going to complain about it. She's got a target on her back. You know that. So that's what it is. To me, I would love it. Bring it on. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to keep knocking y'all down. I'm going to keep knocking shots down.
As long as they give me the free throws.
That's it. Keep doing it. And she keep doing it, and she keep playing it, and she's doing well. Understand. College, you don't play against players like that. You probably play against 1, 2, or 3. When you get to the NCAA tournament, you might have a top basketball player. During the regular season, you're not playing against players like that all the time. So she understands that. Comes with the territory.
Says the right things, though, doesn't she?
She says the right thing, and that's what I like about her. She doesn't complain about anything. She gets back up and do the things that she does. It is what it is. She's getting rewarded for it, though.
Oh, God, she is.
She's getting rewarded for it.
Not by the WNBA with her salary, but by the other people.
Every other people, especially here, my people's here at Nike.
Yeah.
And gave her a lot of money, you know what I'm saying? So don't worry about her. She'll be fine. Let her get her feet in. This is just the first year. She still made the All-Star team. She's still doing a lot of things.
Can't believe she's not in the three-point shooting contest.
She said she was tired. She said she was tired.
She was asked.
They asked her the other day.
Okay.
She said she was tired. She didn't want to do it. It wasn't like she wasn't in it. She said she just didn't want to do it. She had to rest herself because it's a lot of grinding. She didn't have to do this in college.
No, it's
she's
much more
beat
physical.
Up and she's getting a lot of things. She's hurting. I'm guaranteed you she's hurting. So she told him yesterday, that it was just a part of, she was just tired.
Yeah.
That's all.
I hope at the NBA All-Star Weekend, like they did Steph versus Sabrina last year, I hope this year they do Sabrina and Caitlin versus Steph and Clay or Steph.
They
Somebody
will
that.
come with some of that. Everybody was saying that after Steph did that with her last year. I was saying that. I was like, when Caitlin comes, she's going to be in there. I think she's going to be in there. It'll be because that was the highlight of All-Star
Well,
weekend.
the only thing that makes any sense on Saturday is the 3-point shooting contest.
Right.
The skills thing is a joke. It comes down to the last shot. I mean, it really doesn't give you a true
Well,
indication.
the skills, they did too much this year, man. They was giving you contest, throwing it from half court and all that stuff. That was crazy. And then the dunk contest, I think a lot of guys don't want to get into that no more. They were mad at us because I was the judge this year. They was mad at us because, I seen great dunks. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to make a dunk, man, I can't let you try to make it 17 times and then try to get you 50.
Thank you.
I can't do that.
No, the Nate Robinson down was ridiculous.
I can't do that. I just can't. And it is what it is. If you do a great dunk and you do it, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to give you a dunk. I always tell them, why don't you just try to do a basic dunk first and get in there and get a points and then try to do the difficult ones? You know what I'm saying? Get past the other stuff first and then you will be fine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, hopefully they'll change it out and
How
do
do
everything.
you fix the dunk contest? Curiously, how do you get the stars to participate in it?
It's hard. It's hard to do that. I mean, because they don't need the money. That's not gonna impact them. I think do what like baseball do. If you don't win or you do something, punish them by giving them a home field advantage or something like that, or do something like that. I think they should do that in basketball.
Well, the game is never going to change. It's not a game. I'd say call it the All-Star exhibition.
I think it's entertainment.
Thank you.
That's all it is.
That's
It's
it.
entertainment right now.
They
It's
play hard
entertainment.
in these Olympic tune-up games. It's crazy.
Well, I think they start making it too much when they start dividing the teams and letting the captains pick it instead of just having the West against the East. Make them compete against each other.
But they still didn't care then, Gary.
They don't.
I mean, back when we played before your time, it was like
Serious.
a highlight of the. To play against the Eastern best players to try to see if you can beat them in a real serious basketball game.
Absolutely.
It's not that way. It hasn't been that way for decades.
Yeah.
And just be honest about it and just say, hey, it's All-Star. And they do some amazing things. So if you go out there just to be entertained, it's going to be entertaining.
Yeah.
But don't look at it as a real true test and give these guys records of scoring points that nobody's guarding anybody, for God's sake.
And it was just it was funny this year because they had 73s or something, and they all scored 200
90
points
or something.
and one scored 190. So you scored 400 points in a game. That's crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? And everybody just olaying and dunking. You know what I'm saying? So, but like I said, I tell everybody it's an era. It's an era. Me and Rick might not like it because we're cut from a different cloth. It is what it is. I mean, we got to understand these kids are who they are now. This is what these other kids want to do. To me, I always say why Steph Curry is who Steph Curry is, because he plays just like a video game. He plays just like that video game. He makes every shot like that. He does everything that they do, and them kids play that, and that's what they look at. You know what I'm saying? And it is what it is.
And they can relate to him because he's a normal-sized guy.
There it is. They relate to him because that's who they are, because most of these kids are about his size.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We don't really have huge ones, but they'll be all McDonald's All-Americans. They'll be all of that. But Steph Curry relates to most of the kids at their size at camps. This is what they are. So, and that's what it is. And, we can't be mad at them. You know what I'm saying? We look at the money situation. Me and Rick was just born too early.
I told my mother that, God rest her soul. I said, Mom, why couldn't you just waited 10 years to have it?
And I do that too. God rest my mom's soul
but
too.
wait a second,
I say the same
wait a
thing.
second. You had 3 extra zeros in your contract.
We were talking about 30
I came,
Gary.
when I came at the right time. I started it, and I'm happy for Rick and them. We look at Rick and them. They started it all with all this money. And Rick and them was only playing for like 10, 5,000.
I was the second. I was offered $12,500, and I had to make the team as the second pick in the draft.
Yeah, and I remember all that. You remember Rick and them was on trains. They did all that stuff.
No, we went on trains, buses back and forth.
They did
walked
all
uphill
that.
both ways.
We drove ourselves when we went to game. We had to rent cars and drive ourselves around.
I remember that. And I was so fortunate that we had just started doing charters My first year was the first time
We flew
chartered.
coach.
Yeah, y'all. Then the top players could get first class with the coach, and then
Not us.
Y'all didn't.
That wasn't
Everybody?
until the last part of the season.
Oh,
my career.
yeah, that's crazy.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Hey, Nate Thurman sitting in a coach seat.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Come
yeah.
on. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy.
It's ridiculous.
That was crazy.
Anyway, real quickly here, let's just get how much you enjoy being a coach in the Big Three. It's kind of cool what Cube's done, I think.
It's cute. It's really good. You know, me and you always talk, Rick, about everything. We discuss a lot. And I just think me and Rick has been there since it started.
Right.
And for it to see it grow the way it has grown, I think I get comfortable with the players now. I got a team where they all are just one. I don't have an ego on my team. I have all of them that just
Me
want
too.
to play. I don't have an ego. I have all of them just want to play basketball. And that's why we're winning right now. You know what I'm saying? When I had the three-headed monsters, I had that for a little bit. I went to the championship a couple of times. And it was like that. When you have teams like that, it makes it enjoyable to coach. It's fun. It's fun. And
Well, when you're winning, it's fun.
Yeah, it's winning when you're fun. And then I think that these teams are getting bought. And,
Exciting.
and it's
They
exciting.
got four cities already.
And then
a lot of other
my
ones.
team,
Yeah.
and my team has been bought. We
really?
just started. We just started.
Seattle, maybe?
We're talking about it. We just had a conference call yesterday.
Wow.
We had a conference call yesterday, and we were on there, and they were asking me a lot of different things that we should do to make it better. And,
That's awesome.
I think my team is going to start doing fan day. So afterwards, when we come out, we're going to go get showered. Then we're going to come back and pick a little area where we go and interact with a lot of kids. Because
Some autographs.
I hate the kids that look forward to doing stuff and we don't do it for them. I think that's need to be more of that. And my ownership is really working with me, and I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it.
So Seattle's got it. Is that going to be maybe a new one?
We might be, yeah. We might. We're doing it. The company that there's 3 guys on it, and we're trying to figure that one out. You know what I'm saying? I hope that be it.
I think it's great what they're doing. It's going to really help the league be successful because
Yeah.
we know it had some tough times a few years back.
Yeah,
I mean,
it did. We had rough.
Yeah.
We had rough, but now we're getting it now. I think everything is moving forward. You know, I'm thinking we just gotta modify a little bit more things. I think modify it a little bit. I want to eliminate the draft where the players can get drafted. I would like to see the coaches do a little bit more drafting. I think that, and I mentioned that with our owners.
Whoa.
I think that, you know, it'll be fun to put the captain in there, but we coach them. You know what I'm saying? And I don't
But
like
it'd be
them
nice to
picking-
coach the people that you choose.
You want not their friends and their cousins. I don't like that. That's something I don't like. So we want to change that. We want to try to change that. So I hope that changes.
One last thing, you got to give some credit. Your wife has been an integral part of some of the stuff that you've done and everything. So let's give her some props.
Monique, yeah. Monique has been great, man. And she's been the kid, the mother of my kids, and she was with me through thick and thin. You know, thick and thin, and it's great. It's great to have that. Now we got grandkids that we can look
How many?
at. And 4.
4.
Got 4 of them. Got 4 grandkids, which is just great. And it's fun when you can do that. Because now I don't like my kids no more. I like my grandkids better.
Well, the beauty of grandkids is you get to give them back.
Yes, I only got to keep them for a little bit. That's right. I can give them back to my kids. I'm good. I'm happy with that.
Well,
Yeah,
listen,
yeah.
we really appreciate
This
you
has been
taking the
great.
time. I know
That's
you guys got
amazing.
a tough game coming up because a lot of with the craziness that went on with all of the travel and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
You
yeah.
don't have all your players, so
Right,
it'll be
right.
an interesting scenario. I wish that had happened last week that we didn't have to play against all three of you guys. We lost a game to you guys that really hurt us, but we first half we did well, but your guys, to their credit, you know, they came back and played the way they needed to play, and we didn't.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of the game.
Yeah, you know, that's just the way it is, Ricky. You know, we do it like you said. We talked about it, and things happen. You know, you get some of the players that don't really understand the game and do a lot of other things. I'm just so fortunate that I got some guys who can make shots and they play together and they want to play
squad.
defense, and that's it. They just play together and they don't care about who it. Like Corey has been our guy this year, Corey Brewer. So we accept that. You know what I'm saying? Gerald Green is our captain. I bring him off the bench. I just figured that's just the way we gonna win basketball games.
That's so cool.
not a
He's
guy
accepted that role, too.
And we talked, and I sat him down, and I just told him, I felt this is it.
Mm-hmm.
I said, if you do a little bit more things, I would think about, but he says, no, coach, I like coming off the bench because he can give you that energy.
Killed
make
us
that
doing
shot.
it.
Yeah. And then I sit him back down. He makes big threes now. He's not tired. He's making shots. And then I sit him down, and then I can get him fresh off of when we need some scoring. So it's pretty good.
That's awesome.
All right, well, listen, all the best to you. Thanks again. Appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And everybody, be well until next time.
Until next time. Thanks, everyone.